All right. Since we've kind of got off on the 9/11 a little bit, um, we're going to look at something. I'm going to try to just go through this and kind of be like a little teaching lesson here. This is some things I didn't know. It blew my mind when I did see it. So here we're going to start looking at the Archway of Titus and what that was about. So this is the Archway of Titus. I think it may be. It says it is. The Arch of Titus was built in Rome during a tumultuous time in the Flavian dynasty. This particular arch was built to welcome back Titus, commander of the Roman armies, who besieged and conquered the first Jewish rebellion in Judea. It celebrated the destruction of Jerusalem by the Roman army in AD 70. So my point here being is that this archway was built to celebrate the destruction of Jerusalem and also the destruction of the temple that was in Jerusalem. And it celebrates the Roman emperor destroying the temple. And now let's go on to the next thing here. Let's see. So here we have an Archway of Washington, and it's built in this is in New York, and it is built after in likeness of the Archway of Titus. And I'm trying to show you where they positioned it so that you could see the Twin Towers right through it. And like I said, this will kind of knock you out of your seat when you start to see this. But remember, we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. A lot of times we think it's flesh and blood that we're up against, and then like, how could all this stuff come together? But what I'm trying to show you here is it's pretty much mind-blowing. So here we have the Archway of Titus, or a copy of it, the Archway of Washington, and it was built to and what are you seeing through it? You see the Twin Towers. And I'm going to show you how the Twin Towers represent the third temple and the destruction of the third temple. And the Bible says, do you not know that you are the temple? So now a temple is not a building, but it's you. We are the temple now. God lives inside of us. All right. And this archway is looking at those two towers, and I'm going to show you how those twin towers represented us. And here's a very neat thing that you're looking at here. It's actually the same picture that we were just looking at. It's the archway. If you can kind of just imagine that square, you got your little archway square, and you're looking through it, and what you're visually seeing, it's a little not so rounded, but it's a little more kind of dome shape here. But what you're seeing through it is the Twin Towers, and it was put on a $20 bill. And you need to kind of look. You can look that up so you can see how they folded it and how they saw this image, and it plays into everything. This is all it's right here in front of us. So here we got a $20 bill, and it has this archway, and when you view through it, you'll see the destruction of the third temple. And here's a picture of that. When those came down. And what do they represent? And I'm going to show you how these twin towers represented us and how they represent our chromosomes and how each tower represents 23 and 23. And together they make 46. And why all of this happened on 9/11. So this might knock you for a little back loop, but I'm a little off track on my on the race car thing, but it all ties together, so I got to kind of get this in there. All right, let's just read this. The Arch of Titus. The Roman emperor built the Arch of Titus in Rome around 82 CE. I don't know what that means. To honor his brother Titus' sack of Jerusalem a dozen years before, and it underwent it went early in the 19th century. The main thing I'm trying to point out here is, if we skip down a little bit, that its design inspired an arch in Paris, which in turn has served as inspiration for other buildings around the world, including the Washington Arch in New York. So the Washington Arch in New York is built after the Archway of Titus, which the Archway of Titus was built to commemorate the destruction of the temple. So, and there we're just looking at that right through that little window of what is on the other side of the archway. All right, just stay with me here. It's gonna get even more interesting. All right, so we just looked up 9th of Av, which that is a month in the Jewish calendar. Then in the 9th of Av, why is that a big deal? We're going to scroll down. It is a day of mourning because it's when their temple was destroyed. Not only their second temple, but the first temple. It's an annual fast day in Judaism on which a number of disasters in Jewish history occurred, primarily the destruction of both of Solomon's temple. So this was a very, imagine it's the same exact day they had destruction of the temple on the 9th of Av. And then how would that tie into 9/11? Let's look at that. All right, so I was just kind of trying to learn about this today because I didn't really understand that there's two calendars. There's like a civil calendar and a religious calendar for all these months. So if we go down to, let me see if I can make it big right here. Here we go. So Av, the month of Av, is the 11th month in the civil calendar. So it would be the 9th. Hold on, let me see. It would be the 11th month and the 9th day of the 11th month, the 9th of Av. Or if you could say 9/11. See, that was. So why did 9/11 happen when it did? Well, it's actually not our 11th month, it's our 9th month, but when we say it, it would come out 9/11, right? So that would be the 9th day of the 11th month. But that was an image, that was a picture of the destruction of the temple, almost like a mirror image. So let's go back to that $20 bill. So here we're looking at the $20 bill again, right? And if that represented the destruction of the Twin Towers that happened on 9/11, and then there it is under the archway. And so we're looking at the archway, we're looking through it, and we're seeing the destruction of the temple. And each one of those towers represented 23 as they're coming down. And you say, well, what, what do you mean? So you say, what do you mean? Well, this was a picture. This was an image, like a mirror image to tell us something that's hidden in this. It's a riddle. Basically, you're looking at a riddle. There's a date. So what date would you come up with off of this $20 bill? You're looking at it. 2020. Wow. Okay. 2020. So you can just write that down. 2020. 2020, what's going to happen is, what are we looking through? We're looking through the archway. We're looking at the destruction of the temple. And so what, and I said 9/11 is really just a mirror image of the 9th day of the 11th month, which both the temples were destroyed on. So on our calendar, in the United States, on the 9th day of the 11th month, did anything significant happen? Well, it did. Wasn't we just looking at that? Let's go back and look at that again.
Tonight, new hope in the race for a COVID vaccine, and President-elect Biden hitting the ground running. Pfizer calling it one of the biggest medical breakthroughs in a century. Early trial data showing its experimental vaccine is over 90% effective. How soon could it get FDA approval? Plus, who could get it first and when could you get it? It comes as the U.S. surpasses 10 million cases. Hospitalizations surging and massive crowds raising concerns of new infections. Joe Biden announcing his own COVID task force and his urgent plea to Americans to wear a mask. Biden declaring today this election is over. The actions he...
Also, let's look at another headline news for the 9th day of the 11th month on our calendar for 2020. Alex Trebek, longtime host of Jeopardy, dies at 80. He actually died the day before, but it was in the headlines for the 9th of August. And that gives us that word Jeopardy. And then what's after Jeopardy? Double Jeopardy. And then you have Final Jeopardy. Anyway, I don't want to be all gloom and doomy, but we better get prepared for what's coming down the road, that's for sure. And I just discovered this as I was making this video because I'm looking into stuff. Something else happened on the same day. Another warning. Okay. We had Eta makes landfall in Florida Keys after devastating. So at the same day, we had a tropical storm making landfall, and it's kind of appropriate that I started this whole series off with a picture of a hurricane or big storm coming to hit us. And so on this particular day, this storm made landfall. Um, and then I was thinking, well, ETA, what is that? What can that represent? When you hear ETA, a lot of times I think that means estimated time of arrival. But then I said, well, shoot, let's look and see what ETA actually means. All right, I don't take everything to, just look it up. But so I looked it up and it said it's a Christian girl's name. It means luminous. So then we think light, and Jesus said, I beheld Satan as lightning fall from heaven, and it's associated with the lucky number 8. And then when I looked at this some more, Eta is definitely associated with the number 8. And of course, that brings something to mind, because in Revelation, let's look it up real quick. But in Revelation 17, we get a hint about who the beast is. All right, we're in Revelation 17. I'm going to scroll down to Revelation 17:10. And this is telling us about the beast. Let's back it up to 9. And here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. And there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, and 1 is. That's present tense. And the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. So we got 5 are fallen, 1 is. So we know the one that is the 6th. We know that there's another one coming, and he only stays for a short space. But the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th. So that number, there he goes. He is the 8th. And he's also of the 7, and he goeth into perdition. Now, I'm fixing to get way off track. And not way off track, but show you some evidence of who the beast is. Who he is. Who is that person? He's the 8th king. He's of the 7. And I'm going to show you something that slipped by a few years ago. And to point to who he was. So here we are, and we were just reading about the kings, right? And so here we had Lady Gaga, which, she's just going to keep popping up everywhere. That's why she's in the inauguration of Biden, and that's why she just keeps showing up everywhere. But here she is, standing over 5 kings, 5 fallen kings. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my goodness, could this be something that maybe this is something happening here? We got, this woman is standing above and has them all sitting down below. And so it's an image of them being fallen. So you say, well, Lynn, I think you might be stretching things a little bit. Why would this have anything to do with Revelation 17:10 and the fallen kings? Well, this is a picture. It's a picture of 5 fallen. So we would know if the 5 are fallen, the one who is would be Trump, correct? Trump, right? And what is Revelation 17 about? It's about the fall of Babylon. And when did the 9/11 happen, or the 11th day of the 9th month that we're just looking at? When did these things roll out? When did they roll it out? When did all this roll out? It rolled out on the one who is. So who was? It was Trump. So then what was the next part of the riddle? Well, there's another one that comes for a short space. So if this is all fitting together, then of course that would be Biden. And that means he's only going to be here for a short space. And his name kind of means Biden, like Biden time. Biden time for what? The 8th. Okay. And it says the 8th is of the 7. That means he'd be one of these. And there's a guy right here. Let me just kind of single him out here. This is the guy leaning. He's reaching out for the position. He's done a lot of things to show you that that's who he is. His name means Barack, which is lightning, and from the heights. Obama, from the heights. So I'm just trying to get y'all prepared for what's coming down the road. Don't freak out. Okay, another little thing to look at here. So Lady Gaga posted this, right? What day was this done on? Because everything's done to a certain way. What day? 10/17 of 2021. Okay, so 10:17. 10:17. Weren't we just reading the 17th chapter, 10 verse of Revelation? So in that number right there, you have the 17th year, the 10th day of the 17th year. The year being the chapter 17, the month being 10. Got it perfect. What time did she do it? 9/11. Wow, that number keeps popping up, don't it? This is, a lot of this stuff can kind of freak you out, but hey, we're here for such an hour as this. I'm just trying to put this together so that we won't walk in ignorance. We'll pluck our heads out of the sand. I got to do it too, because I mean, this stuff's kind of heavy when you finally start to realize, hey, this ain't no joke. It ain't no joke. Anyway, next. So I'm going to play a short clip from Jonathan Kleck, who actually, opened my eyes up to a lot of things. He's got his own thing he does, and a lot of his videos have been taken down. He's been taken off of YouTube, but and it don't mean that everything he says is right. But like I said, you just got to take the good. I see him as somebody that's trying to get the information out, but he pointed me towards the fact that, hey, this whole these twin towers coming down represented us. Now, I don't think he made the connection with 2020, because it's right there on the bill, and the connection with the two shots that were coming, and they had 19 hijackers, which, COVID-19, put it all together. And then there you go. There's your temples. There's it coming down. It's a lot of stuff, but I'm going to finish this up with just a little clip from him, and then I got to get back to the race stuff. So we had a little detour, but it all plays together, and that's why the race happened in 2020, to give us the heads up warning.
You freak out. You know it. Good job, Johnny. Let's go back and look at some archways. This is the Arch of Titus. Okay, let's go look at who Titus was. Okay, Titus, he was a Roman emperor. He succeeded his dad. He came after his dad that died. His dad's name was Vespasian. And so after he died, Titus took the throne, and he was declared emperor on July 1st of July, 69 AD. Titus was left in charge of the ending the Jewish rebellion. So Titus, the guy you're looking at, that the Arch of Titus is made after, listen, he was the one that destroyed the Jewish rebellion, and he besieged and captured Jerusalem, and he destroyed the city, and he destroyed the second temple. So this guy Titus, he destroyed the second temple. That's what he did. He destroyed the Jewish temple. Remember when Jesus said, "Verily I say unto you, there will not be one stone left upon another that is not thrown down." Okay, the temple that was destroyed, this is the guy that destroyed it. His name's Titus. Says it right there, destroyed the second temple. For this achievement, listen, for this achievement, Titus was awarded a triumph. And the Arch of Titus right there commemorates his victory to this day. So the Arch of Titus commemorates Titus's victory and the destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. The destruction of the temple in Jerusalem. On the night of Av. I'm going to show you something. The destruction of the temple in Jerusalem, both temples have been destroyed on the same exact day in history. It's the craziest thing ever. In the history of, Judaism, the first temple was destroyed and the second temple was destroyed, and they were destroyed on the 9th of Av, the month of Av, right here. Now look, there's what's called the civil calendar and then the sacred year. Now, I want to show you on the civil calendar, the 11th month is Av. Av is the 11th month. And the ninth day of Av is 9/11. So, the Jewish temple in Jerusalem was destroyed on 9/11. Does that sound familiar? 9/11. The second temple, which was destroyed by this guy Titus right here, Titus destroyed the second temple on 9/11, the 9th of Av. Go look it up. Both temples were destroyed on the 9th of Av. And they even mourn. The Jewish people mourn on those days because they know their temples were destroyed on 9/11.
And we stand together to win the war against terrorism. Tonight I ask for your prayers for all those who grieve, for the children whose worlds have been shattered, for all whose sense of safety and security has been threatened. And I pray they will be comforted by a power greater than any of us, spoken through the ages in Psalm 23. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil, for you are with me. This is a day when all Americans from every walk of life unite in our resolve for justice and peace. America has stood down enemies before, and we will do so this time.
Here's Obama with Psalms 46.
He breaks the bow and cuts the spear in two. He burns the chariot in fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge.
So I'm going to wrap it up right here with, this was the motto. This has been the motto, build back better in the Great Reset. And it all happened in 2020. And these people are moving in to take over the system, to destroy the temple, which is us. And what do they want to build back better? The temple. So they're going to tear it down, and then they want to build it back better, like the One World Trade Center. And that's why they lit that thing up pink to celebrate the abortion. So they lit it up pink to celebrate abortion, the One World Trade Center, which I may put a little picture of that. But I'm just trying to put this all together for you so that you can see that 2020 was the time, what's happening. I expect the next video I'm going to try to get a little bit on the lighter side, because that race has a good story, because Ryan Newman comes out all right. The car gets smashed up, the outside, but he comes out okay. He comes out a new man, and it's a miraculous story. But anyway, so I better jump back to the original thing, but I wanted to show George Bush reading Psalms 23 and tying it to the Twin Towers. That's when they came down. And Obama reading Psalms 46. And also notice that he said, be still and know that I am God. And I just showed you, and there's more to show you about him. He'll come up some more later. But time for us to get ready, folks. All right, we'll see you on the next one.